everyone, Serenity here. Welcome to Down Home Crypto. So I'm going to start this episode off a little different because I want to ask you a question. Yeah. Are there any of those projects that you're in and they're still strong, team's still growing, doing everything else, but the token price just keeps dwindling down day by day by day and it's killing you and you just want to get in there and go up? Well, guess what? I just found a way to do that and I'm going to share that with you here today. First, if you would, please do me a huge favor. Take a moment, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video, because some of this information can be time sensitive. Most importantly, as always, please go out and talk to a friend, a coworker, a family member. Let them know they're not trapped in that dead-end job. There is another way. And they don't have to be tech savvy or college educated or rich. They simply have to have a desire to change their life and a courage to follow that dream. And they too can join us on this great crypto adventure. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to OnlyBurns. So before we get into OnlyBurns and find out all the ways that it works, I want to make sure that all of you understand what burning a token actually does, okay? So you've got buy pressures when somebody comes in and buys a token, then you've got sell pressures when they sell it back. But what if somebody were to come in and buy a token and then throw that token away? Guess what? They can never sell it, which means it never goes back down from that pump it got. That's exactly what OnlyBurns is. It's a burn as a service. So essentially, they're going to come in, buy a token from whatever protocol we vote for, and then throw it away. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to buy it and throw it away so that they pump the price and are never able to drop it back down by selling that token. Why would you do that? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. So let's go check out the website real quick. Okay, so here we are on the OnlyBurns website. It says right at the beginning, burn as a service. OnlyBurns is a project built around the idea that everyone loves a burn. The first ever crowd-funded project, OnlyBurns aims to create the curve wars of burning. So imagine this. You were to get in OnlyBurns, you got some OBurn tokens, but now you've got this big, huge bag over here that you really want to give that a little bit of pump, and you can make some great profits. You can utilize your OBurn tokens to vote on that protocol to have their tokens burned. But now also realize that when you utilize the OBurn token to boost this bag over here back up, you're actually boosting OBurn tokens as well. So it's a hyper-deflationary model. And by utilizing the token for its utility, what it was designed for, you're actually going to boost two projects simultaneously. Now, they've also got an NFT factor where you can buy an NFT, stake it in your wallet, and whatever OBurn you put over here to boost this bag, you can go up to double the strength of that governance vote. Yeah. On top of that, you can actually rent the NFT. So, I mean, the simple fact is they've got a lot of great ideas. They brought all the pieces within the DeFi space that are really working, putting them in one protocol, and they're making the entire utility to boost other protocols. I mean, that right there is pretty brilliant in my book. So let's go into this. Let's find out how OBurn works and see if this is truly a project that's right for you. Now, I said earlier, OBurn is a hyper-deflationary. What does that mean, right? Well, first of all, you have to understand, how does it work when we buy into a protocol, okay? Typically, we buy into a protocol, our money goes into a liquidity pool, which is an even balance. But then when the team has to get operational fees, advertising, whatever it is they've got to pay for, they've got to go in and they've got to pull out the dollar out of the liquidity pool, essentially leaving it imbalanced, more tokens than dollars. So every time the team has to operate within that protocol, it's going to create sell pressure. Okay, so that's one of the big hurdles that has always happened. Anytime a team has to go pay for the servers or the website or developers, whatever it is, they're actually creating sell pressure. Okay, now OBurn has done something very unique. Instead, when a person goes in, let's say I go in to buy OBurn and I put in $100, before I ever get to the liquidity pool, 10% of that, the buy tax, is shaved off in actual dollars. Now that's super critical because that means the team does not have to sell off a token or imbalance the liquidity pool to operate the protocol. Okay, so right off the bat, there is no sell pressure from the team's operational expenses. Okay, so that is a super exciting deal and that's very unique. Now, does that mean that it changes the amount of tokens we get or anything else? No. To us, it makes absolutely no difference. If there's a 10% buy tax and I buy in at $100 and it's $1 a coin, I still get 90 coins. The only difference is it doesn't drive the liquidity price down and create that sell pressure. So my OBurn tokens hold a strong value because the team is not the ones driving the price down. Now you might be thinking 10% buy tax seems a little steep, but here's the kicker. 90% of that buy tax goes straight over here into multi-sig wallet. The dollars in that multi-sig wallet, as well as seed funds from the OBurn protocol itself, is what is going to go over to this protocol that we vote for, buy their tokens, and throw them away. So 90% of the buy tax is entirely for purchasing the tokens from the protocol we vote on and throw them away. So literally the OnlyBurn protocol runs on 1%. That's it. I think that's pretty amazing personally, because I don't know of any other protocol that runs on 1% of the entire investment to keep the thing going and make it profitable. So I know it sounds pretty crazy so far. So let's go find out, how does this buyback and burn process work, okay? So on the website under mechanics, it says users vote on what project will be bought and burnt by using the OnlyBurn dApp to vote for the project on any network and burn some OnlyBurn to back their vote with governance. Okay, the top 5 projects with the most votes and associated OnlyBurn that's burnt will win that month's buyback and burn. So once a month, OnlyBurn utilizes the funds collected by the buy tax to purchase tokens of whichever top 5 projects receive the most votes, and then burns the tokens, okay? So if I take my OnlyBurn and I go over here and I put, say, 10 OnlyBurn tokens in here and I vote for this project, those OnlyBurn tokens that I lock into the governance, those get burnt. Guess what that does? Fewer OnlyBurn tokens means the price of OnlyBurn goes up. Another deflationary mechanic, okay? But also that locks in my vote for which protocol I want over here to get bumped up, okay? So I'm literally helping myself in 2 directions. I'm burning my OnlyBurns token by casting a vote to bump my bag over here higher. So 2 birds with 1 stone. It's an amazing concept and so simple. So you might be asking, hey, Serenity, sounds really great, but how do I make sure that those OnlyBurns I lock over here and burn for my governance vote really gets as much strength as possible? Well, OnlyBurns has another trick for us, NFTs. Now, these are a very limited supply here. There's 3 tiers, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And as you can see, the tier 1 only has 1,000 of them total, and that's all there will ever be. But each NFT gives a governance boost depending on its tier. So a tier 1 gives a 25% governance boost to the OnlyBurns you lock in for that vote. The tier 2 gives a 50% governance boost that you lock in. And tier 3 gives a 100% governance boost. So let's say you have a tier 3 and you have 100 tokens of OnlyBurn that you're going to lock into that vote. You actually now gave it 200 tokens worth of strength for that vote. But let's say that you've got a whole project and you really want to boost yours to the top of the list and make sure you get the #1 slot on that voting chart. Guess what? You can actually team up with everybody else. Say, okay, everybody send me your OnlyBurn. I've got the NFT. I'm going to place the vote and I'm going to double the entire team's governance vote to make sure it gets the best bang for the buck. So these are very limited supply. As you see, a tier 1 has 1,000, tier 2 has 500, and tier 3 only has 250. But there's one more trick to this game. The NFTs can be rented. Yes. So if I were to go out and buy, say, a tier 3, there's going to be a marketplace that I can go in and I can rent my NFT to somebody else, and I can charge them a weekly fee. But the cool thing about this is I don't have to send them that NFT. I'm actually going to take my NFT, I'm going to lock it in a rental contract, and that's going to wrap it. Now that wrapped NFT will be represented in the rentee's wallet. So it's just like they had it in their wallet, but they actually don't have ownership, and nor do I ever have to transfer it to them. The OnlyBurn protocol holds that NFT safely and securely so long as that rental contract is functioning. But it's a great way that I can make profits literally by holding an NFT, renting it out, as well as holding my OnlyBurn tokens and burning some of those to boost my bags. So there's a lot of gamification here, but it's really simple. And the great thing I love about it, it's simple, yet it's very secure. Now that covers the NFT functionality, and these are going to be sold in 3 different rounds for tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 3 will only have 2 sale rounds, and these are really sought after right now. I'll give you a heads up. So definitely jump to the Discord, and I'll put a link in the description down below to get up to speed to find out what's going on and when this is going to occur. So about this time, you're probably saying, hey, Serenity, what happens if I get into OnlyBurn, I get some tokens, and I go over here and I lock them in on the vote, and what if I don't get first place? What if I get second or third for the protocol? Guess what? You still win, because the top 5 protocols every month are going to have a buyback and burn feature, and they're going to be set up proportionally based on the screen here. So first place will always get 60% of whatever's in that revenue bag. Second place will get 20%. Third place, 10%. Fourth place, 6%. And fifth place will get 4%, totaling 100% of the revenue in that bag for buyback and burns. So you don't have to be first, and make no mistake, even if you come in 3rd or 4th or 5th on a smaller protocol, that can have a profound impact on the price action. Now, one other factor they're going to have on the dApp is it's going to be a running total based on the blockchain information, not off of DEX, not off anything like that, but literally straight from the blockchain, it's going to tell you, hey, if I put in so many OBURN tokens, that's going to raise my vote status to this. How much is that going to be total in the buyback and burn? And how is that going to affect the price of the protocol I want to win? Yes, you're going to have live information so you can pick and choose what you're doing and see it as it's occurring. Not down the road, not wait till the end of the month to find out who the grand winner is. No, it's going to be, you can build a strategy in real time with your community, with your protocol to try to get the best bang for your buck. And you might find out that, hey, you know what? Going in and renting that NFT for $50 or $100 or whatever, because you want to put 1,000 OBURN tokens towards it. And if it's going to double it, that might have a profound impact taking you from third place up to first. So I really like the fact they are running in real-time information, and that will all be on the dApp once it's launched and running. Now, in wrapping up this white paper, we're going to go visit the sale tax, because as we know, when you go to sell out of a protocol, there's always a sale tax, and that usually hurts everybody else. So we really try to be the first one in, first one out. Otherwise, everybody else in there gets hung, right? Guess what? Not in this one. Because the sale tax, though it is 10%, is taken out before it hits a liquidity pool. What do I mean by that? Let's say you have 100 OBURN tokens and you want to sell them. On their way to the liquidity pool, 10% is shaved off and thrown away. Burnt. Yeah, I kid you not. The entire sale tax is burnt. So that way, when somebody does cash out their tokens, they are getting the regular sale tax, but that 10% is not coming out of the liquidity pool. So it's not hurting everybody else still in the protocol. So that's one of those things I found truly amazing and unique, yet so very simple. So it kind of eliminates the whole concept of first in, first out is the only way to make money. Yeah, I see this as absolute amazing concept and how simply they put all this stuff, and I don't know why somebody didn't come up with it sooner. So I think that about covers all the information we've got for OBURN protocol. Now we've gone through the white paper, the website, and I highly recommend you jump into the Discord, ask them questions, and I'm going to put links in the description down below for each of these sources of information so you can go and do your own research. Because as always, this is not financial advice, and I highly recommend never trust me, never trust anybody else. Only you know your situation, and only you can make the right choice that fits your risk and reward system. But as long as we answer those 3 questions, we should be on track. What? Oh, did I skip a question? What? Who? What? I did. Who? Guess what? I did that intentionally because, you know what? I got a surprise for you. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the founder of OBURN Protocol. Okay, everyone. So, as promised, as you know, my 3 questions are the what, the who, and the why. And the who is super critical, especially in a bear market. You got to know who you're giving money to, and you got to know you can trust them. So, as promised, I'd like to introduce you to Cyril Keir. Hi, Cyril. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Doing awesome, brother. So you got to see the video so far. What are your thoughts, do you think?
I think it's very informative. I like how you broke it down into easy to understand terms, because anytime you're introducing a relatively new concept and a new type of protocol to DeFi, you always wind up hitting that little bit of a barrier of understanding. So I think you did a really great job breaking it down and making it easy to understand.
Excellent. Well, thank you, sir. But I know there's still some fine-tuning and some little tweaking going on because we haven't officially launched yet. And that is scheduled right now for the 7th, correct? As of right now?
Yeah. So as of current, that is the slated time for the pre-sale to end, and then we would launch.
Okay, so we still got a few days. So if you're watching this now and today's the 3rd, you still got enough time to get in there if that's something you're interested in. But as always, don't trust me. Don't trust this man next to me. Trust yourself. You have to make your own decisions because in the end, you're responsible for your own investment. So we're going to give you the information. And this part especially is really critical because who we give our money to is something that really matters. I asked Cyril to come in here and join us, and we'd like to know about him because we're going to essentially invest in his protocol and trust in him to do the right thing. So Cyril, if you would, now tell us a little bit about your background in crypto and investing. I know you've been a trader. You've done a lot of things. So, give us a rundown here, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started in the stock market investing about 13 years ago. And then 4 years later, so about 9 years ago at this point, I started investing into blue chips such as like Bitcoin, et cetera. And from there, I wound up moving into DeFi about 4 years ago. And it was definitely a culture shock for me, right? Going from traditional investing in the stock market and then to blue chips with deep liquidity, covered by exchanges and everything like that, to DeFi. It's a whole different ball game, a little bit more of the Wild West, if you will.
It
But
really is. And a lot of people mention that it is the Wild West, and we're looking at legislation coming down the road, things like that. But I think that also gives the opportunity to build something really neat here and kind of be a part of the foundation of building. Now, in the OnlyBurns, you have a couple very unique aspects, and I wanted to ask you about those. If this came from your past experience or whatever, but for instance, like taking the US dollar out when the buy tax, that 10%, taking that out before it hits the liquidity pool so it doesn't unbalance that view. That's brilliant. I mean, it seems so simple, yet nobody's done it before. How did you come up with that?
yeah, so I've been in a couple of DeFi projects and they had a buy tax, especially during the rebase protocol season, right?
Yeah.
They always had that anywhere from like 15 to 20 to sometimes 25% buy tax. And one of the things that I always saw was their protocol would do contract sells where they had to sell all the tokens that they collected on that tax in order to actually have funds to work with. And every single time that happened, it would just stop the buying pressure, right? Because everyone's like, whoa, what was that? A giant red candle. And then they're looking at the wallet and they're like, oh, it was a contract sell. There goes another $30,000 that, and it was always kind of demoralizing to the holders to see that, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so we wanted to kind of circumvent that. And currently on decentralized exchange platforms such as QuickSwap, PancakeSwap, etc., there is no way for you to take the tax out from what you're paired to. Like OnlyBurns, we're pairing with a stable coin, USDC. And there's no way to take the tax out on the USDC side, right? It takes it out on the token side. So to circumvent that, we had a smart contract made and purchasing routes through the smart contract and then to the liquidity pool. And so what we did is the smart contract itself takes out that 10% as the USDC and sends it to the Burn Fund wallet. That way, we're not having to then sell the OBurn tokens. And then it routes the other 90% through the liquidity pool and then back to the user.
Okay. And that makes sense. I mean, it never made sense to me why every time I buy into something, all of a sudden the price drops. Like, how does that make any sense at all? This is crazy. So, no, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I can't believe it took this long for somebody to come up with it. So, but now this is not your only project, right? You've been in this, you've been building, and you've got a couple other things going in the background. Is that correct?
Yeah, it is. So I run KYC'd Consulting, which is a DeFi consultation firm. And we work with other protocols that maybe they haven't quite gotten their tokenomics sorted out yet. Maybe they were like a rebase protocol and now they're trying to shift into something new. They want to turn off rebases. They want to figure out how to get all of this supply that is now diluted, their original supply, to kind of figure out how to get it off the market, things like that. And our consultation firm helps them. We work with their documentation, etc. I also run Parrotly Finance Incorporated, and that is a DeFi project that's tied to a registered corporation in Delaware. And we're building out a Web3 version of a ticketing solution. Right now, Ticketmaster's got this death grip on like venues and concerts and everything like that, and they're charging exorbitant fees because they're running this little vicious fight with scalpers. And so we've created a new solution that essentially fixes that, right?
Oh, very cool. Okay. So this isn't your first rodeo. You're not like somebody off the street saying, hey, I'm going to jump to DeFi, get rich. I mean, this is not only do you have other protocols, but you're actually the person somebody goes to says, hey, I got an idea. I got a protocol. I kind of sketched this out. What do you think? You're the one who guides them to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And because DeFi, I find a lot of times that new ideas developers come up with them, right? They may not have the background in finance or in business management. They can code real well and they can create new things in the DeFi space, but they might just need a little bit of assistance with the financial aspect, mapping out the economics of their token, etc. And that's kind of where we come in, because we want to give these opportunities for them to succeed and do well with their idea and make sure that they're set up correctly.
Okay. And no, that's great. That makes sense. Now, also with KYC'd Consulting, you guys also do the KYC process also for these people. So kind of like we always trust in the know your customer. We want to know, okay, who are these people? Who you're the guy who actually researches them, tracks them, verifies them, and you keep all that information so that if there's ever a problem, we come to you and say, hey, we got rugged. You're the one who goes and finds it.
Yep. Yeah, and our KYC process is actually a little more in depth than most of the KYC processes currently available on the market. We twice a year we actually send a letter with a randomized code to every single team member that we have performed KYC on. They have to send that code back to us within a certain period of time to verify that they still live at that address. This prevents people from KYCing here in the States, then moving to Timbuktu or wherever, and then we can't find them, right, if they perform nefarious action. And we also have a false advertising clause. So if they launched a project and sold that they were going to do X, Y, Z, but then they decide, oh, never mind, we're not going to do X and Y, we're just going to do Z. Or, if they are operating under one premise and then don't notify anybody and just switch to something else, and it makes people upset, right? They have to notify their community or put it up for vote at least 7 days prior to any change. So if people are like, whoa, this isn't what I signed up for, they have the opportunity to back out, leave, etc., sell, whatever they want to do, because we've seen that take place quite a lot in DeFi as well.
Yep, we have. And so, no, that's really kind of cool. It's not that this is just like not your first rodeo, but you're literally that guy who runs security across the DeFi space. So if there's anybody, as far as a founder that I've ever talked to believe in you, I got to say, in my opinion, at least, you are definitely that guy, because yeah, you're going to arrest yourself if you do something shady. So it's actually kind of cool. So no, and that's the biggest thing is, like I said in the beginning, is really finding out, who are the people behind it, because that's the biggest thing. Now, of course, since it's your project, I'm assuming that all your devs are KYC'd, everybody's researched. Is there anybody that you've utilized outside of house for coding or something like that? Because we've seen that before where, hey, I hired this dev and then found out, oh, he embezzled $100,000 and ran away. Is there anybody outside of your house that did any coding or had any operation within the code that could have any effect on that?
Yeah, one person. And they actually are from a project that KYC'd Consulting works with, and we've actually KYC'd. So I felt comfortable utilizing them for that. We've had one of the developers from Cardinal House occasionally assist us with something if we were under crunch and needed another set of hands. And yeah, he's KYC'd to KYC'd Consulting, so I know where he lives, and
I will find him.
Yes.
Coolness. And that's good to know, because a lot of these projects we don't realize that they had the idea and stuff, but they had to go out and subcontract for developers, things like that, and then something goes shady, and then the the founders are sitting going, I don't know what happened. I ran away with it. And so now, but also, correct me if I'm wrong, you're actually a coder as well, correct? So you actually can read your own code even if you hire somebody?
Yeah, so while I'm not quite at the point where I can write code from scratch, because I tried to learn how to do that, but my plate was just so constantly full with everything else. But I did learn how to read code, and I know what it does. I can look through a smart contract, and I can spot if there's something wrong, right? When we were looking through, there were a series of like 3 or 4 rebasing protocols, and we spotted a part of code that actually allowed them to pull tokens back from the dead wallet of all places, right? And so we told people like, hey, watch out for this. They're not supposed to be able to do this, but they can. So anytime one of the smart contracts is finished, or any of the React code for our dApps comes across my desk, I go through it line by line. I make sure that there's nothing fishy going on there, and kind of that second look. And then we have a very close working relationship with an auditing firm called Interfi. And we have them, they're currently auditing the smart contract for our tax solution. And they're also auditing our OnlyBurn token contract.
Excellent. Okay. And all that'll be complete for the launch. Is that correct? Okay. Almost. So, okay. One last thing I got to know, and this is something that really kind of blew my mind now. And it's the last part I covered in the video, which is the sale tax. Now, I understand everybody has a sale tax, and usually I think that's where a lot of the protocols take their profits, things like that, or different things. But why in the world would you throw away 10% of the sale? Why would you throw away the whole 10 sale tax? That's crazy, man. How are you able to do that? That is completely mind-blowing.
Well, I am, after going through rebase season and watching so many protocols just inflate themselves to death, I'm a huge fan of deflation, right? You know, I mean, just look at the US dollar as it inflates itself to death. I would love for the IRS to come along and start burning, 10% of all sale transactions that happen across the nation. That'd be great, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we operate off the buy tax side, right? And the sell side, I look at it this way: people are coming into the protocol because they're buying into what they believe, right? They believe that we're going to execute. They believe in what we're building, and so that's where the tax should come in. We get that 1%. You talked about it earlier off the buy tax. The other 9% of it goes to the burn fund wallet. So that's enough, right? That's enough for us. The sell, I want that to then benefit the ecosystem as a whole, right? Benefits coming in for the protocol, benefits the ecosystem as a whole, and all the holders as for the outflow, right? And so we just want to make sure that sell tax over to the dead wallet.
That is awesome. That truly unique. And like I said in the video, is you guys have some really amazing concepts and way of doing it. And it's like, why wasn't it done this way all the time? I mean, this is so simple yet so crazy at the same time. Yeah, I was truly blown away by it.
Thank you.
So I think that about covers most of the questions I had, Cyril. Now, let me ask, is there anything you would like to add to this?
Yeah, so we do have a partnership with Chain Bets. I don't know if you saw that in our Discord or not. I don't think it's on our website directly, but Chain Bets is a platform where you can take your tokens and you can go play some casino games like coin flip, roulette. They have like high low. They have more games that are coming out shortly as well. So as soon as we launch, our token you'll be able to go there and play with OnlyBurn on their site. You get the opportunity to maybe win some more, maybe you lose some. If you're bad at gambling, or if you're having a gambling addiction problem, don't do it. Maybe, if Lady Luck is not your friend, maybe stay away from that.
Fair enough. Now, is that going to be? Are you going to have to sell the OnlyBurn to like a stable coin or anything, or are you going to actually bet with the OnlyBurn coin?
You bet with the OnlyBurn itself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like that. So I could build my bag back up that way after voting for governance over here, turn right around and take part of that, and then go just pump my bag right back up without ever having to put anything back in. I'm liking this idea.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. You could. We actually have so it is on our website, but it's not explained. But in the token allocation section, it talks about having an allocation there for the Chain Bets pool.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I guess a little side tidbit, something that we're pretty proud of, is our NFT art, right? Which you were kind of showing off there.
Yeah.
Maybe toss up on the screen some of those tier 3 teasers that I sent.
Yes. Let me see if I can get that over here real quick. So that up. Here we go. So now this is the tier 1 NFT. Is that correct?
Yep, that's one of the one of one tier 1 NFTs that you'd be able to actually find hidden in the collection.
Nice. Okay. Now, in the tier 1, that was $100 and gave 25% governance strength. Correct? The boost?
Correct.
Okay. And then I've also got the tier 3 here. Let me bring that up real quick. Now, this is really cool looking. It's 3D modeled. I mean, this is amazing looking.
Yep. And the final actual NFT will sit there and slowly rotate. So you'll be able to view your Fire Lord there from all sides.
Nice. So not just a picture, but literally a rotating 3D model. That is pretty wicked.
Yep, and something that we're proud of is that we actually work with a company that does 2D and 3D digital assets for AAA games. One of the games that they worked on was Cyberpunk 2077. One of the other ones was The Last of Us. Both of these are very popular video games in the space, and you know, we're able to get them to do our tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 NFT art.
That is pretty amazing. I mean, that's yeah, it's some beautiful looking art. It's a lot better than the cyberpunks and things you see with just a few pixels. I mean, this is really well done.
Careful, don't get the cyberpunk community after you, or the crypto punk, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally never understood the ones that looks like it's from like the Atari 2400. It's like, okay, I played video games like that when I was like 12. I mean, how is that worth $500,000? I don't get it. I really don't. But that's just me. Yeah, to each their own. I'm not the person to judge, and I couldn't judge art if my life depended on it, to be honest with you. So I think we're pretty safe.
Yeah, I look at some of those multi-million-dollar pictures, and it's a blue stripe down a canvas, and I'm like, can I become rich by making blue stripes down a piece of canvas for you? Is that okay? Let's do this.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you paid how much for that? Oh my God, that is insane. I truly don't understand the art world, but yeah, that's okay. It's not for me at this point in time in my life. Yeah, maybe one day it will be. So I guess we'll have to see. So Cyril, hey, I want to thank you very much, bud, for taking the time to come out here and join us. It's truly been a pleasure. And yeah, OnlyBurns is one of those projects that once I got into it, the more I found out, the more excited I was about it. But yeah, I want to definitely remind everybody, do your own research. Don't trust me. Don't trust him. You guys got to make your own calls because only you know your situation.
Right.
So, Cyril, thanks again, brother, and appreciate your time as always. And everybody else, thank you for joining me here, Down Home Crypto. As always, have a good night.
Thank you. Take care.